everyone. So today is Saturday, the 22nd of March, 2025. And so I finally got caught up on Smackdown from last night because we went to Comic-Con, and I don't really get, to be honest with you guys, I don't get USA here because I do a lot. I stream a lot of my stuff. And USA, from what I understood, they do have a streaming thing, but it costs a little bit extra and more. It costs a little bit more than what I want to pay, so I just wait and watch the highlights on YouTube the next day, which doesn't hurt my feelings. I mean, I still get the gist of what happened, and actually, in a way, it kind of makes things easier because if there's a match that I don't think is all that great or whatever, I can just skip by it. Which they have one with the Profits. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad the Profits got the titles back, but I really didn't care for their match, so I didn't even watch it. I'll be honest. So I'm just not getting into the SmackDown tag teams right now. I don't know why, but I just can't get into it right now. Maybe later I will, but right now I'm just kind of like getting bummed out of the tag team stuff in general, I think. But ladies tag team seems to still be good. Seems to be pretty good, but they kind of even took a break with them right now. It's just like, no offense, but Liv and Raquel have held the tag team titles for the ladies for a little while now, and I don't think we've seen them. I don't really think we've seen a tag team title match since they got the belts. So like they've got them, but they're just wearing them for fashion. I don't ever see them actually defending them. So, I don't know. But anyway, so the highlights that I have, first off, Randy Orton getting serenaded by the fans. I like that. I know there's a thing with Liv Morgan earlier with some type of painting, but I really didn't care. So, but anyway, getting into it. So Randy Orton serenaded by the fans, singing his entrance song. They're in Italy. I believe it's Italy. Bologna, something like that. Bologna. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. My geography is terrible, and sometimes my language is terrible. Even my English language can be terrible at times. So, there you go. It's not anything against you guys. It's just sometimes I have a hard time pronouncing things. But at any rate, so he's serenaded by fans. Kevin Owens comes out with a Randy Orton t-shirt. Well, of course, it's cut off at the sleeves. But he's wearing an RKO shirt. Basically, he's trying to get on he's getting on Randy Orton's good side. He's trying to talk Randy Orton into being tag team partners again. Apologizes for putting Randy Orton on the shelf for a little while. Randy Orton comes back and says, "You know what? I'm glad you put me on the shelf because now I'm hearing voices in my head." And of course, he's going with his song. But he goes but you know what they're telling me to do? They're telling me, first off, that we're going to be in Vegas, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for you. Because I am vowing to kick your head clean off. So, very interesting. So, he basically brought out the Legend Killer and Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens looked pretty scared there when he said that. So, we'll see how that goes. Without a doubt, we know the two are going to face each other at WrestleMania. So, that'll be a good match to watch. Drew McIntyre is still making Damian Priest his target. We know that's going to happen at WrestleMania also. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, like I said, because I thought it for a while there it was going to be Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk all in a match against each other, and that suddenly changed when basically Damian Priest kept interfering with Drew McIntyre there. Although it wasn't really the fault of Damian Priest. I mean, he was in matches where it's every man for himself. It just so happens the guy he kept going after was, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was just right there at the time, and it made total sense, and that's what happened. But of course, Drew McIntyre is taking it personal. But now we got a match, so there you go. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair exchange words. I found this very boring. Mainly because we got a lot of heat between the two of them, I believe, last week. It got really interesting with the brawl they had going on, and then this week it was just an exchange of words. It seemed very boring. It seemed like it was kind of like a last-minute thing that was put together by WWE. I think they could have done a lot better with that segment and really capitalized. I don't know. It just kind of fell. So I wasn't really intrigued by it. I was at first, but then it lost my interest, and I basically just said, okay, fine, and went. I didn't even listen to the whole thing. I just kind of went on and to see what the other matches were. Braun Strowman gets a title shot after there was disqualification between him and Fatu. Fatu wasn't part of the disqualification. In fact, Fatu looked like he was kind of pissed off. First, Tamba Tonga comes into the ring. Braun Strowman fights him off before Tonga can do anything, so the match is still going on. But then Solo Sikoa comes up to the ring, and the ref sees him. And he kind of hits Strowman in the back. That does that. It's now disqualification. So Braun Strowman now wins by disqualification. So the three still gang up on Strowman, but Fatu looks like he's pissed. Particularly pissed at Solo Sikoa. And, LA Knight does come out and save Strowman. Then we find out that, sure enough, officially, Strowman and Braun Strowman and LA Knight will be in a match, I believe, on Smackdown next week. That will be the big match. So, for the U.S. title, that's not going to go over well with Fatu. Eventually I'm thinking that there's going to be a Fatu versus Solo Sikoa at some point. And if it does happen, I definitely look for Fatu to kick his ass. But time will tell, but I think it's coming. I think it's coming. I think Tama Tonga is going to have to figure out which side he's going to be on. But which most likely he's probably going to take the side of the werewolf. And we're going to see the new bloodline fall apart. But later on, Jade Cargill versus Liv Morgan. It looked like Jade was going to take that match. She looked really good against Liv Morgan, even with Raquel at her side. Jade Cargill looked awesome. And then Naomi appears, and Jade Cargill kind of took her eye off the ball, and she lost the match. Everybody's making a big deal because she lost her first WWE match ever. I'm like, well, she did, but I mean, come on. I mean, she had a streak. Yes, she had a streak in AEW, but that was AEW. That's not here. And first off, so she's facing different opponents. It's a different program. They're going to run things a lot differently over in WWE than what they did in AEW. So to me, it was no surprise. I would have done the same thing if I was WWE. Just because she went on a winning streak there doesn't mean we have to put her on one in here. We don't have to follow suit. We've got wrestlers here that are just as good as she is. So I liked what they were doing there as far as that goes. And showing that Jade Cargill is beatable. I mean, she's still a tough one to beat, but she is beatable. Then Naomi, of course, comes in after the match is over, and she basically picks off what I would call picking off the bone. She basically attacks Jade Cargill while she's still laying on the mat. Doesn't really give her a chance to get up. She just puts fist to face, so to speak, and yeah, which is pretty much just cheap shots. So I was like, well, Jade Cargill, when she got you, I mean, put it to you this way: when she got you, it was kind of by surprise, but there again, you kind of braced yourself. You knew it was coming at the Elimination Chamber. Nobody else saw it coming but you. But you knew it was coming. Jade Cargill didn't get you from behind. This is completely a sneak attack, so this is basically your only way of getting Jade. That's kind of how I took it, so I don't know, but it looked stupid to me. Well, on Naomi's part. But we know that there's going to be a WrestleMania match between those two. I can't wait. It's going to be a good one there, too. So WrestleMania is looking really good this year. And then, of course, they cap off the night with the Tribal Chief making his debut back to Smackdown. He's back. The OTC or YTC, whatever you want to call him. He's out there with Paul Heyman. And the fans give Roman Reigns some respect. They hold up the ones for him. They do acknowledge him. And that's when Roman Reigns starts talking. He says CM Punk screwed him at the Royal Rumble, so he screwed CM Punk at the cage match. And he said, then when it comes to Seth Rollins tried to end me at the Royal Rumble. So I try to end Seth Rollins, at that cage match or at the Garden. So we can tell things are heated, and he says, "Yeah, I've got time, so anybody who wants to come out here, come on out." Well, Rollins comes out, confronts Roman Reigns, says that Roman Reigns messed up because he should have let Rollins finish Punk at the cage. Basically just end Punk's career. And he said, shame on you. Of course, by the way, when Seth Rollins comes out, he's serenaded as well. That was a big thing over there. CM Punk then comes out. He gets serenaded as well. Of course, when this is going on, Rollins drops his mic. He's irritated. But anyway, so CM Punk starts talking as I did not screw Reigns over at the Royal Rumble. He goes, because at the Royal Rumble, it's every man for himself. And he said, maybe maybe Paul Heyman should have told you or whatever about this, because I know this is, you haven't been in a Royal Rumble in a while. So maybe he should have informed you this. But it's every man for himself, and I'm not helping you in the Royal Rumble. So I really didn't screw you over. It's just every man for himself. Well, and then, of course, he thanks Paul Heyman for... Oh, he reminds everybody that Paul Heyman still owes Punk a favor. Paul Heyman kind of looks right back at CM Punk and says, what do you want? What favor? So, well, we'll handle that another time. But right now, I just want to thank you for bringing your Tribal Chief out here to me on a silver platter. And Paul Heyman kind of has this sad face on, or a sad look on his face, or sorry look on his face. And that's when CM Punk goes after Roman Reigns. And then we get a three-way brawl between all of them. At one point, Punk breaks away from the three, and he points to the WrestleMania sign. Then the brawl continues. Rollins breaks away. He points to the, everything kind of goes in Rollins' favor. He points to the sign. The brawl then breaks right back in again. Roman Reigns then has some steel steps, and he takes out Punk and Rollins, and then he points to the sign, and then the brawl continues again. So at the end. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed it. We know now that there is going to be a three-way match between those two. A three-way between those three guys. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And that is all I got from SmackDown. So basically, the path to WrestleMania continues. So I'm definitely excited about that. And now we get on into it. We've got the questions of the day. Questions of the day. So let's get into it. Alright, so, of course I skipped this book yesterday because I kind of got into a rant. And I didn't really mean to. It was just something that just came to my mind, and I figured I was going to take care of it. But now we're moving on. So, if it upset anybody, I didn't mean to upset anybody. It's just something that was on my mind, and I just speaking my opinion and going on. Alright, so what is your biggest fear? My biggest fear right now? I would say... I do have a big fear right now, one big fear right now, but I don't really want to get political. That's my thing. I hate being political. I hate that. I would say, though, that my number one fear right now, or what I'm afraid of right now, is the stuff that's going on with the presidency of the United States. Because, and like I said, this isn't being left, this isn't being right. I don't like the Republicans. I don't like the Democrats. It doesn't matter who you are. My fear, though, is Donald Trump right now can do whatever he wants, or it seems like he can do just about whatever he wants in that seat without anything being checked. You know, it seems like some of the judges are trying to keep him checked. Some of the attorneys are trying to keep him checked. But there needs to be more. Because it seems like even the Republicans that know that what Trump is doing is wrong are afraid to voice their opinion right now because, you know, or when they do voice their opinion, like, well, you know, we back him 100%, and they get a lot of boos. And a lot of it's because it's like, okay, well, you guys are not, and that's my thing on it, is like, you guys are too much about your party. You need to get over that right now. Think about what's going on. This guy is totally in control of everything, and you guys are just letting it happen simply because if you actually do something about it, it would show that maybe something is wrong in your party that needs to be fixed, and you don't want that limelight. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if you got a problem, you got a problem. It needs to be solved. I don't really care who it is or what it is. Right now, the problem is that the executive branch seems to have too much power, and because of that, we have little to no power in Congress, and also little to no power in the Supreme Court, which is a big, big problem right now. The executive branch probably should not have near as much power as what it does. But the system of checks and balances aren't being done right now. And because of that, the people are suffering. Because the people feel like that their voices are not being heard about what they want. And because of that, it feels like we're starting to enter in a dictatorship, and that may not be a good thing. That's what I'm afraid of. So I answered that question, and I'm moving on. That is something I fear right now. And to be honest with y'all, I don't think it's going to get any better until at least 2027. And the reason I say that is because then you're going to have more people from the other party in office. And even though I don't like either party, I don't. But what I do like about having more of one of those parties is that more checks and balances will be done now because they're not afraid to speak up about the president. So, I don't care who you are, I don't care what party you represent, you should never be afraid to speak up about somebody if you think they're doing stuff wrong. You know? Same thing with congressmen, same thing with judges. If you feel like they're being shady or they're not doing their job, then you need to speak up. It doesn't matter if they're part of your party or not. And that's what the people want. The people want people to be open and honest, and when someone is screwing up or they're not doing a good job, your job is to let us know that they're not doing a good job, irregardless of what party you're for. But it seems like, well, they're part of our party, so we're going to, normally, yes, we would speak up, but since they're part of our party, we're just going to let it go. We're going to let it slide. And then you want our votes when it's time for you to get back into office. And you're hoping that we, the people, won't recognize the fact that you had the chance to be a whistleblower and decided not to, simply because you and the other guy are buddies. Yeah, I mean, come on. But anyway, like I said, moving on. I got other questions to answer, so. I hate politics. I don't want to speak about politics all day long. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, I think I'm right in this page. Do you have an area of your life that you are never satisfied with? Do you have an area of your life that you are never satisfied with? I don't think so. I think there's times when I'm not. There are times when I'm not satisfied with something, but that's going on in my life. But then I try to fix it. So, like right now, there's some things in my life, and I don't want to get into details, but there are things in my life that I think need to be fixed, like always. But do I say that I'm never satisfied with those things? No. These are new things that came up and I'm not satisfied with, but I'm going to make my changes, do what I got to do, and fix those problems. That's my goal. So, but I can't say I've never been satisfied. Never is a strong word, so. What do you think should be more regulated that is currently not? Well, kind of like what I was speaking about a while ago. I think the checks and balances. I know I'm going political again, but that's the first thing that popped in my mind since I just got through talking about it. But I think checks and balances need to be regulated more in our government, because those checks and balances are there to protect the people. It's not there to protect the politicians. It's not there, although they're using it for that now. But it's not there to protect the politicians. It's not there to protect, one man who's a president, or one lady who happens to be a senator. It's there to protect us, the people. That's what it's there for. If someone's not doing their job or not doing what they're supposed to, then someone needs to start speaking up. And checks and balances, it doesn't necessarily have to be the Senate checking on the House. Or the judge, the Supreme Court checking on the president. What needs to be is, what it should also be is one senator checking on another senator, irregardless of what party you are. If you know they're not doing a good job, then you need to speak up and say they're not doing a good job. Even if that means that next year that seat is being held by the opposite party. All well. We need to get people in there that need to be in there, not just someone in there that's filling up a seat. And I think that's what we're getting a lot here lately, and I think that's where we, the people, are hurting a lot, is because I think both parties are heavily responsible for that, of putting people in office simply to fill a seat. And that's not what it should be. But anyway, moving on. So I got back into it, but moving on. I wasn't expecting that. How independent are you? Well, pretty much I am. I'd say I got my own apartment. I'd like to be a little bit more independent, and we get a house. We're trying to get there. But I mean, as far as that goes, got my own vehicle, got my own place I live. I pay my bills, but like I said, I live with Angela, so I'm independent right now with Angela's help. But I mean, if I needed to be more independent, I could. But it always helps to have someone else here. Don't get me wrong, I'm not depending on her financially. I'm not. But at the same time, even though I'm not depending on her financially, I'm not going to lie and tell you that her being here doesn't help me financially. And at the same time, she helps me in more ways than just financially. So, a lot more ways. I mean, she's not here. I don't have her living here simply to help me out financially. That is not why she's here. So, like I said, if she happened to move out tomorrow, I'll be fine. That's not why she's here. But, like I said, having her here, it does help. But yes, I would say I am pretty independent as far as that goes. Like, I'm not depending on her. I'm not really depending on anybody. If I have to do it tomorrow, I will. Push come to shove, if I have to get a second job, I'll do it. I don't want to, but I'll do it. Right now I don't have to, so I'm not going to. But if I have to, I will. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So, how much affection do you need to feel happy? How much affection do you need to feel happy? Not very much, to be honest. I'm going to stop at that question, but not much to be honest. I thought I would be more of an affectionate person than what I've turned out to be in these relationships, but yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love affection. I'll take affection. But it's not where, like, I need it desperately in order to know that the other person cares about me. I know that Angela cares about me. I know we're good, so, like, if she doesn't give me a kiss goodbye when she leaves, hey, I know she still loves me. I know she'll give me a kiss when she comes back, or she'll give me a kiss or a hug later on in the evening. I know it's coming. I know I'm fine. I know she's going to tell me she loves me because she does all the time. So I don't, I'm good. I'm good. But at any rate, that's all I got for the questions of the day. Now we'll get into, as soon as I can find the book, there it is, Missouri Day of History, and then we're done. So, Missouri Day of History. And we are in the month of March. So let's get to it. Somehow I never got into April. Let's get back. Here we go. March the 22nd. We're going back to 1913. And I don't know why that hair wants to stick up. I look like... there we go. That looks better. Let's say I look like a cartoon character with that sticking up. Alright, here we go. So, going back to 1913, the official flag is finally adopted in Missouri. So, Missouri got its state flag, from what it looks like. So, says, Mary Watkins Oliver became known as Missouri's Betsy Ross for designing our state flag. Oliver hailed from an influential family in Ray County, married a soon-to-be senator, and moved to Cape Girardeau. While he was practicing law, she was put in charge of the flag design in 1908. She took painstaking effort to incorporate everything Missouri stood for into the flag. Governor Elliott, Governor Elliott Major I was going to say mayor, and I was like, that ain't right. So I had to get a second look. I'm like, yeah, that's a J, not a Y. So Elliott Major signed into legislation recognizing that flag into law, and the original flag is now on display at the Secretary of State's office. So there you go. Secretary of State's office at the Capitol is where you'll find the original Missouri flag. And from what I can tell, if it did change, it hasn't changed much. So that flag in 1913, so, or somewhere around that time. But there she is with that flag. And that is what I got for Missouri Day of History. And that is also what I got for this video. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. And peace out. And hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.